Omega.
Gonky.
Gonky's gonna end up being the new leader.
Yeah.
He's gonna wear the headband.
Yeah.
They need to get a couple more to fit it around him.
Pass it down.
Yeah, just one really tied together headband.
Oh
my god.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the HoloNet Marauders podcast. I'm AJ, as always, joined here as always again by Jamie, aka Jam the Jedi.
Hello.
There's no Matt this week. He's on vacation. But
yeah, he's just on vacation.
Jamie and I are still grinding, as always. We have no vacations.
No.
And speaking of grinding, we have quite the grinder himself here with us, our good friend Dallan.
Speaking of vacations, I just got back from vacation, so
maybe okay. Maybe he's not. No, but Dallan. When you think of Dallan, you think grinding. If you go check out his Twitter, you'll know what I mean.
Grit. Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Cerebral
I'm excited to cerebral grit. Yeah, I'm excited
Very
to talk
Jedi.
some Star Wars. Yeah, yes, it's quite the Jedi thing, really. But I've been working on my Arabesh. I'm ready to go. I sound horrible, by the way. So
I know.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, Dallan, you sound like this once a year, I feel, and we just happened to have you on the podcast the week you sound like this. So
yeah, the worst I've ever sounded.
The worst day of the year.
For context,
it's all good.
With Dallan, context, lore, the AJ HoloNet Marauders lore here.
Yeah, how do we know Dallan? Why is he here?
I've known Dallan longer than I've known Jamie.
I've known Dallan longer than I've known you.
Yeah,
that's actually true.
I'm just ever present. I'm just always around, I guess.
And most of you know that me, Jamie, and Matt all went to college together. Dallan also went to college, the same college, and he was my roommate for a year and a half, pretty much. Because I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
officially a year, unofficially a year and a half.
Yeah,
that's as much sense as it's gonna make. And pretty much Dallan knew us at the same time, but AJ and I didn't know each other until a year into that. So
yeah,
that's why. Whatever.
And here we are now.
And here we are talking about Star Wars.
I was the bridge.
Dallan was the bridge. I don't know what was.
Bridge.
Yeah. He's like Snoke, bridging our minds together, something like that.
Oh, there you go.
Dallan's cooler than Snoke, but
yeah,
I'm way more useful.
The same amount of style, but cooler.
Yeah,
the same amount of style.
Yeah, he wears that robe nightly.
We gotta get you a golden robe and golden slippers.
We do have a pal. We do have a pal that went to college with us that wore a robe every day, but
the same robe all the time.
I do have a fake ad to read off.
A what?
A fake ad, a fake commercial. If you guys are so kind to join our Patreon, there's a certain level where you can send us a fake ad, fake commercial. I don't know the better way to say that. And we'll read it for you. It has to be appropriate and whatnot. And it's an in-galaxy kind of read. So this week,
right, okay.
Here's the ad. This podcast transmission is brought to you by Suga Suga, a Jawa metal band. Check out their new album, Songs of Lost Parts, out now. Go to your nearest shop and pick it up. They'll even be touring at Mos Eisley Cantina this week. And I think afterwards they're going to be heading over to Mos Pelgo to see Cobb Vanth and the gang. But anyways, be sure to check that out while they're in town. And thanks to our friend Kevin for that suggestion.
Thank you so much, Kevin. That was great. Oh my gosh, I didn't.
Them.
Oh my gosh, I would love to meet Suga Suga in person. That is a killer name for a Jawa band, and now that needs to happen. So
I wonder what their hit songs are.
AJ mentioned one, didn't he? Bag full of parts.
Album.
Oh wait.
Songs of Lost Parts.
Steal your shiny things. Don't steal my shiny things. That would be a good one.
Sand crawling to heaven. I don't know.
The sand crawler blues.
Anywho, we got that out of the way.
And their hit Utini.
Oh yeah, that's there.
Yeah.
That's their Yellow Submarine or
Christmas album. It's scrolling by and there's black and white Jawas singing.
Oh my god, that's good. Whenever we have a new guest on, it's the old song and dance, but we always ask them, what's your Star Wars origin story? So, Dallan, what is your a Star Wars story? Like, how did you become a Star Wars fan, and what are your fondest memories growing up?
I don't even know how it started. I think I was just born with it. I think my older brother had some instinctively. I just gravitated to it. I think my grandparents had like the classic Darth Vader chest thing that you can put action figures in that opens up. It's Darth Vader shaped, and he had all the like original action figures, like the Star Wars ones from like the 70s and their 80s,
like the small Kenner ones.
Yeah. So I had those when I went to my grandparents. I got to play with those. They were not in good condition. I think we used toothpicks for the lightsabers, and they just kind of went in the arm. So you just kind of put the toothpicks in and colored them. And then I just started collecting. The prequels came out. Had made my dad go see all of those like 3 times each or whatever. And it's just been nonstop. Love the video games. I'm getting back into the newer series now because there's a little break. I wasn't into the Clone Wars, didn't get it, but I'm getting there, and I'm excited because I really do love Star Wars at the end of the day. So
yeah,
right.
Yeah, happy to hear it, getting back into it because
Thanks to you guys. Yeah,
spread the inspiration around.
Yeah, that's right.
We try.
What it is.
But yeah, we're kind of here today to talk about the animated series, which is funny because, you just got into them, but that's kind of why we have you on, because it's kind of a fresh perspective on those series, at least Rebels and now Bad Batch. We'll get into Clone Wars stuff too, but Jamie and I didn't see those for ages either. I mean, Clone Wars came out in what, 2008? Yeah. And I mean, we didn't watch it until like 2016, 2017, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. And same with Rebels. We didn't really finish it until 2019, 2020, maybe. And that's really recent. And it's crazy to think. But Dallan, for the longest time, I never pushed things on to people. Like, I'm not like, go watch this. You have to watch this. As some people might do. Maybe I do, but I don't think I do that.
If you're going to do it to anyone, you do it to Dallan.
That's true. But
that's fair.
I've always been advocating, like, these animated series are some of the best storytelling in Star Wars. Go check them out. But what made you finally come around to watching Rebels and Bad Batch?
So Bad Batch was the one that kind of got me into the animated stuff. I like the idea of the squad, and as you know, I've never been a big Jedi guy. I've always been like, the gritty scoundrel Mandalorian, those characters. So, when it came to the Clone Wars, I felt like it was very focused on the Jedi thing. Rebels passed me by. Then I was like, oh, these clone trooper guys. Guy kind of looks like Rambo, kind of like that. So, and I was like, you know what? I like the idea of it. Give it a shot. And I was in. Game on. And once, I caught up with Bad Batch, I was like, yeah, let's try this Rebels thing out. I was bored one day, and yeah, I think I ripped through the first season in like a weekend. It was bad, but it was great. I mean, it was great, but it was bad because I just ripped through it. And I've been, I don't know, I just love the storytelling. It's very just, I like it. I don't know.
It's
magical.
Good. I think I'm on record for saying that Rebels is some of the best storytelling in Star Wars. Like, if not the best, my favorite. I don't know. It's just, and it's funny because you said you ripped through season 1.
Yeah.
Jamie liked Rebels more than me when we started it. I didn't. Season 1, I was like, I'd watched Clone Wars at that point, and I was like, I don't know if I like this as much.
Yeah.
We kind of
Rebels
stopped,
was funky for us because we watched. Like we said, we started late, so we watched Clone Wars first. At that time, everything 1 through 6, season 7 hadn't come out yet, and then we're like, all right, well, we're gonna try watching Rebels, and we started to watch Rebels, and we just couldn't get into it. I liked it, but we couldn't get into it as much. We literally got to, you've gotten this far in the show so far. We got to the point where Ahsoka like re-shows up, and we're like, should we keep continuing? I don't know. And then we literally like paused and we like waited a year. We didn't resume. which is crazy. And then the next episode we like resumed on one of our all-time favorite characters, Hondo, shows up, and we're like, all right, well, we're sold. We're back into it, and that's why you need to really get into the Clone Wars, Dallan, because you would love Hondo. If you're not like you just.
I think he appears more in Rebels than he does in Clone Wars, honestly, right?
He does.
Hondo's a trip.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, but you gotta have like.
I mean, he's so good that
Hondo. He's full schemes all the time. Actually,
we haven't been to Galaxy's Edge, aka Batu, but he's like the featured character there essentially, and it's like people like him that much that he's the classic like scoundrel.
Didn't he like disappear from Galaxy's Edge recently?
Ooh,
what?
Like maybe he's missing. Maybe he's on a trip or something.
They have an animatronic of him. So when they like opened, they did have like someone as like the character, but that's not like actually like a common thing. They always have, to my knowledge, they always have the animatronic of him in the ride, and he gives like the whole "Hello, my friends, here I am," and then he like tells what you're gonna do on Smuggler's Run. But I hope that they didn't.
I was watching a video because I like keeping up with the Galaxy's Edge stuff. And I thought the one person's like, Hondo's missing. Maybe he's away, but I could be making up a storyline.
Maybe
he's getting
they
cleaned.
Really removed him for a day to get maintenance, and that's why.
I think they did that with Doc Ondar. The guy, he's the guy who runs the shop, right? So like, I think they took him out to like clean him up or something.
Oh, probably
work on his.
They have to
inner mechanisms.
Pick his nose and whatnot, and make sure he's okay.
Oil bath. Jamaica.
Honda went for an oil bath. That's the story.
I could picture him actually like doing that though.
Yeah, does it work like that? That's only for droids. Can people and other species go for them?
Maybe
I don't know.
Different kinds of oils for the week way. He's just going to have a spa day. Why not, right?
Essential oils, no big deal.
Yeah.
Essential oils.
Having a good time.
Yeah, it's fine.
Hondo knows how to have a good time.
Dallan, was it just a coincidence that you watch Rebels because you like Bad Batch, or what did Kanan? Well, Kanan shows up. Caleb Doom shows up in the first episode, and then Hera shows up with Hera and Chopper. Was that a coincidence? Like, were you already watching Rebels when that happened? Because that was like a few weeks ago.
I don't think so. I don't think I was yet.
Okay.
But I knew the characters because I've always kept up with the storylines of Clone Wars, Rebels, and everything. So I'd recognize them when they came in. But then I think I got through Bad Batch to where it was, and I'm like, all right, I want to start this now so I can actually understand the significance. And I like the characters, so it just made sense.
When you finish Rebels, go back to like rewatch the bits in the Bad Batch, because like knowing what's gonna happen in like the Rebels story is like totally different when you actually experience it, because like that was like us with Rebels as well when you first started watching it. Is we knew like the basic story, and because it like came out while we were like fully in tune with it at the time, but we hadn't really like watched it. Like AJ had like watched a couple clips along the way, and like I had as well, of just like I don't know how far you've gone and how much you know, so I don't want to like spoil things.
Right. I'm pretty sure he already knows stuff that
I pretty much know it. I know everything.
But in the shadows all the time. I think that the biggest one is just like with Maul and his showdown. That later on, so we like knew about that, and then like what eventually happens at the end of the series, we knew it was going to happen. But when you see it happen, it changes everything. If you haven't like actually watched the video, knowing all of the weight of it, and so then like going back to watch the Bad Batch, it's just so interesting to actually like chat with someone who hasn't had the perspective of this is everything that happens to this character in the future. This is everything that happened to them beforehand, and it's just like, all right, I like this guy because he looks like Rambo, and I'm like, this is great. That's perfect. I love it.
He is Rambo.
He is
Rambo.
Like, he really is. Clone Bo.
No sidestep around that. He's Rambo.
He's like laying down over here.
He's got the knives. He's got.
Jamie was tiptoeing around some stuff there, but oh yeah, there he is.
I think I know. I
don't
do know what happens in Rebels,
reveal.
but
I was gonna bring up. Dallan texted me the other day that this guy who, for our audio listeners, he texted me. Kanan is one of his favorite characters. So
I love Kanan.
Yeah,
here's a non-blind Kanan and My favorite, Blind Kanan.
Blind Kanan.
Kind of more badass.
Blind Kanan.
Blind
I'm
Kanan.
a big Kanan guy. Yeah, I like his character. Like just that guy, like.
Which is funny because you said you're not
angry and non-trusting he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, how loyal. I don't know. He just seems. I get him. I feel like I just connect with him. Like he's trying to do the right stuff. He's trying to, but he's also being stubborn. And I love Rex, but even the way he's like, I don't know about this guy. I love it.
I love Kanan for the sole fact that he's learned everything himself for the most part, and he has to teach Ezra everything based on just what he's learned himself. And that's like why he's like the biggest like piece of it, because it's like I feel like I've always tried to just like teach myself all of the things instead of like always like reaching out for help, even though the help was there. And yes, Kanan has help in like the life department, but not in like the force department, which is a big part, obviously being a Jedi, which he kind of refuses to be until Ezra comes around. And he has to deal with it, which is just really, really cool to see. That's why I love Kanan.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, I'm not a big Jedi guy. Yeah. So for me to say like he's one of my favorite characters, because he's not the self-righteousy Jedi. My favorite lines are, I think it was the do or do not, there is no try thing. And like, what does that mean? He's like, I don't even really know what that meant.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that
love it. He's just like,
I love it. One. Yeah. I absolutely love when he shares the wisdom. And Ezra's like, okay, but what does that mean? And he's like,
dude, this is just what they told me. I'm just trying to help.
I love those Jedi that like were younglings when Order 66 happened, and then they survived, and they're like Cal Kestis in Fallen Orders, probably one of my favorite Jedi as well. And they just have something about them where they didn't absorb all the Jedi hubris that we saw in the prequels. And I don't know, they're a lot more relatable because they've gone through some stuff. But
yeah,
right.
Kanan is awesome. Kanan doesn't click with me as much as he does with Jamie and you and our other host Matt. You guys all love Kanan. I like Kanan a lot, and I like Hera, and I like their relationship a lot together. But I don't know.
AJ likes Hera a lot more. He likes Hera a lot more.
Hera's awesome. Yeah,
I just best pilot in the galaxy. I love Han. I love Poe. I like Anakin. But they're all great pilots. But no one touches Hera. Dallan, did you get to the B-wing episode yet?
Yeah.
Oh my god, isn't that great?
It's the most shine a B-wing has ever gotten.
When the guy
is tough.
When the Mon Cala guy shows it off, the blade wing. Like, yeah, I love that.
Why didn't the rebels use that weird like kite move, laser beam thing?
Oh, the beam? Beats me.
Where was that?
It's in Squadrons, the game, but
disabled.
We don't see it in the films.
I guess so. I mean, the Death Star wouldn't have stood a chance if they just launched some of those bad boys out there.
That's
Only
true.
One person per ship. They couldn't afford 2 people in a ship, so.
Yeah, you need the second gunner. So
that's probably why.
That's true. That's true. They couldn't.
Really thinking about it here.
This thing would make a big difference. We just don't have 2 pilots.
Right.
Whatever.
And then the other episode I figured you would love is the one where Kanan and Rex go undercover with the clone, the stormtrooper armor.
Yeah.
And Rex is like having a wedgie with it and whatnot.
Yeah, he's always picking around.
Yeah, I love that.
I love the Kanan Rex duo.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah.
It's classic. Yeah. Yeah.
It like holds so much more weight now as well, because like we see Kanan as Caleb Doom, like what actually happened to him for Order 66, not just like before it was like wishy-washy, the clones rebelled and they killed my master and that's it. But now it's like they literally hunted him down, and this kid had a traumatic experience, and it makes sense why he's so extremely prejudiced towards all the clones at that point in time. Like before it was just like, all right, well, you probably could have like forgiven at this point, but no, like they were out for him. And it was originally
you had the comic book, right? To which I haven't personally read, but
it's not
shows off
here,
Kanan's backstory.
Yeah, so there was like the Kanan comic, which is essentially the events that happen in the Bad Batch. Like the bare bones of the story is the same, like the planet's the same. Obviously, Depa Billaba dies, but the Bad Batch isn't in it. They don't exist yet at that point in time, and so like that's been like a big like hot topic of like they changed the canon, but the story is the same.
It's the same, yeah.
The story is the same. So But yeah, I love Kanan and Rex and everything that they have to like work with each other because they obviously don't want to. Like Rex has like no problem with it like whatsoever because like he's like, yeah, I'm good. But Kanan's just no,
Yeah,
not at all.
I know. I'm big. I always ask me. I don't know the Clone Wars that well. Like I kept up with the Rex storyline of Clone Wars, so I still love the guy. I love the clones.
And watching a lot of the animated shows really pays off for, now in Mandalorian, we've seen like a handful of characters from different mediums. Cobb Vanth is from a novel.
Ahsoka.
And Ahsoka, obviously, Bo-Katan. Couple of big deal characters there show up. And, everyone kind of knows Ahsoka now before that happened, because whether you've seen her or just heard about her, but watching this stuff really pays off. And I love Ahsoka in Rebels. Like she's great in that because she's also kind of the seen some poodoo kind of Jedi / non-Jedi, because she says I am no Jedi, which always sticks with me because I'm like, is she a Jedi? In Mando they call the chapter the Jedi, so I'm confused. But
that's true.
Yeah. It probably just doesn't mean anything, and I overthink it. Classic me.
Yeah, I still think she doesn't refer to herself as a Jedi anymore, or by the rules of the Jedi, but in everyone else's eyes, she is using the Force and has lightsabers. She's a Jedi.
Yeah. I see the chapter names from like Din Djarin's point of view, and he doesn't know what's going on like anywhere.
No
so he's like, Jedi? Yes. Luke Skywalker around. Slashes all the people down, walks through the door, and he's like, "Are you a Jedi?" So yeah,
you just picture him just like, oh,
literally lives under a rock.
Din Djarin's one brain cell. He walks up to the Force rock. He's like, "Does this look Jedi to you?" And Grogu's just like,
Grogu's smarter than him. But yeah, which makes sense, I guess, because he is older. But
he is 50.
Still a baby. Yeah,
50-year-old baby.
But Dallan,
I just talking about that. Go on.
What has you not wanting to watch Clone Wars? Is it just because it's long and overwhelming, or?
I don't know. I've tried multiple times to get started on it, and I don't have a character. Obviously, Obi-Wan's the man,
right?
But there's not a character I'm watching. And I'm like, the first couple episodes, I think it's Yoda. I don't really remember. It's been a little bit.
There's the chronological way to watch it too, because it's all out of order. Like if you start episode 1, season 1, it's not the chronological order because it's Star Wars. So why would it be? Fair. But I mean, I didn't know if that was the reason, if you knew that, and maybe that made it less appealing. There's a lot of great stories in there.
Yeah.
But I think the linear the linear story of Rebels makes it a bit more attractive to watch and easier for the viewer.
Yeah, it's characters for me. I like the Rebels crew already. They're their own characters. Like I said, I just don't really feel like watching Yoda. I don't feel like watching some of those guys. There's played out for me, I guess, a little bit. I love the Plo Koon episode.
Yeah,
a couple of those.
That is great.
He's great. Like they're floating around on like an escape pod or whatever that was. I vaguely remember it. I like that because we didn't know much about Plo Koon, even though he's been around. And I've watched a lot on YouTube, just like picking the storylines I want to look into. Like I know about Fives and Rex and all those guys. I know. So
the Fives arc, if you go just watch the Fives arc, I think it's season 6. You could, especially now with Bad Batch and what we've seen, you could go watch that and you'll love it. It'll make sense.
That's what I know about it. And I like the character and everything, but I've never got connected to it. So it'll happen. I think once I'm done with Rebels and Bad Batch is done, I'm going to get to the point I need something.
You're simply going to not have anything to watch, so you're just going to have to watch it anyway. So that's just
in the
how
next
it goes.
few weeks, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to happen. And then I'll follow up with you guys.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, definitely. We want to hear your reactions and whatnot, or see your reactions.
I guess that's like the biggest gamble with Clone Wars, though, is that obviously you don't always have the same characters every episode. Like, there's a very good chance that it's going to be like Anakin and Ahsoka, but then like at the same time, you really don't know who's actually going to like show up in the episodes. I mean, you could have an arc that's Jar Jar and Padme, which isn't really the best, but it's okay. It's also. Recently, we were starting a chronological like rewatch of everything for the Clone Wars, and oh gosh, where was I going with this?
We just watched Jar Jar and Padme.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. I can't figure out my train of thought now because I just thought of that instead.
We just watched a mean Kit Fisto arc where he confronts Grievous. That was fun.
Ooh, yeah, that was really good.
But I would suggest, like, I don't. There's probably people listening that are going to yell at me for telling you not to watch the whole thing. But if you go watch just arcs, like there's the clone arcs are amazing.
Yeah.
The Fives one, the Umbara arc is really cool. Yeah.
Everything with Domino Squad, which would help if you obviously are watching Bad Batch because you can have Echo's entire story. The Citadel arc.
That's a good one. Where Echo
dies.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, what I was going to say. So like rewatching it from the beginning. Wait, he died. Rewatching the Clone Wars from the beginning is kind of really jarring watching it right now because the Bad Batch is so far advanced in the animation and just visually is just so stunning. Watching season 1 of the Clone Wars is like watching like drawings made out of crayon. Like, it is. And it's weird because it's like, this is like really good like animation like at the time, but it's just like, wait, this looks a little funky.
Yeah, it's true. Like the Bad Batch, even though it's cartoony, it still looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Clone Wars looks cartoony, but still good. But yeah,
it's very cartoony.
Yeah.
Rebels has a unique art style too. You know, it follows the Ralph McQuarrie concept art, and some people do and don't like that. I mean, it is what it is. Once I get like a chunk of episodes in, I just forget about it. My biggest beef with it was the lightsabers are like really thin.
Yeah,
but it's what
toothpicks are back.
The toothpicks are back from Dallan. Yeah,
actual toothpicks. Yeah. Oh gosh.
Like look at that.
Look at that.
Yeah.
We pulled up a thing of Kanan here, and that is the toothpick. Like it doesn't even look it down by like the hilt. Like it doesn't even fit. Yeah. But I don't know. It's a small thing.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Here's a random Rebels question. Why does Chopper get so much hate? Why don't people like Chopper?
Who's hating Chopper?
I feel like everything I read, they're like, he's our least favorite crew member because he doesn't get an arc. I'm like, he's a droid. Like,
I was interested in your take on Chopper. You're picky with droids because you didn't like K2 from Rogue One.
Yeah.
I thought
I wasn't really a big fan of
K2
either
recently, and I was better with it. Rogue One, I just had issues with just like all the characters being kind of meh.
Yeah, so, we sort of agree there, but
yeah.
Rewatching Rogue One, it gets better with each watching. We're all kind of on the same page there. Once again, there's people going to be screaming at us that are listening, but
I didn't think I really cared for it after my second viewing. I was like, yeah, and I watched it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? Rogue One has some really cool stuff going for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, just the intro with the Death Troopers gets me fired up because they rule. I wish they did more, but
that's every cool looking thing in Star Wars. You know, Knights of Ren, Death Troopers, Sith Troopers. I mean, they look cool. Boba Fett until recently.
I said, don't say it. Don't do it to my guy.
Like, if it's live action, we don't usually see these people do a lot until Mandalorian season 2. But Jamie and I's biggest issue with Rogue One, while we're on the topic, our viewers and listeners know, but
which we've said before, and
Dallan probably knows too. But the timing of it was just so weird because I was off the high of Force Awakens, then it's like, okay, let's go back to the Imperial era for no reason and talk about this. But I'm fine with that now, but at the time I was super into the brand new era of Star Wars sequels, and we went back, and I don't know, it was just weird for me.
Killed the momentum.
Yeah, a little bit.
I was thinking that this goes back to the Rebels, Clone Wars. I'm just that era is my favorite. Like
that is your era,
the Empire. So Clone Wars, the sequel trilogy, okay. Nah, I want that Mandalorian era, like the in-betweens. I love that. So I'm definitely like an Empire Rebellion guy.
Yeah, and then like going off of that, my favorite era is the post Clone Wars era. So the dark times that Obi-Wan talks about. It always has been, and we never really had like a ton of like canon quote unquote content for it until recently, because like we have the Bad Batch, and we had like Jedi Fallen Order, and then like a few like comics runs about it, and it's just everything that like I've like wanted more so. Until like for the Bad Batch, like it's been like everything that like I've wanted so far, and like as a fan who like doesn't dig too deep into the things, but deep enough into the things. Like I've been like content. Like it's been great. And then there's like obviously there's like tons of layers out there, and everyone's gonna be like, oh, the Camino Rebellion. Oh, they did this in Battlefront 2, the original one. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't. We'll get it when we get it, and I'm excited with what we have right now, and I think we should just be happy. So,
it's always funny.
I just threw Hunter on the ground. Oops.
It's always funny people bringing up like the Legends stuff, because we've seen it be plucked so far in Mando, and I think that opened the door for a lot of people saying like, oh, like the Camino Rebellion happened in Legends, or Battlefront 2, whatever, and Star Wars doesn't have source material, so it's kind of like a bit jarring to hear like, oh, I want to see how they adapt this, because that's kind of new. Yeah. So I see where you're coming from with that, because usually it's like, oh, we're gonna wait and see what happens in Star Wars, and I think it's inevitable
with the waiting and seeing, because like I don't need like all like the extra like background material going into it. Like I'd rather just like wait and see what happens, because like that's like what it's going to be. Like I understand and respect that like all the Legend stories like are there, and like they weren't there in the first place. And like as it's been said in multiple new canon times of saying this, there's always truth in Legends. Like multiple characters say that, and I think that is so important that they keep shoving that line into new source material.
It's Lucasfilm just doing a big wink.
Right. Yeah. Because they are like plucking like things from Legends. So like everything with like the Dark Troopers, and then like little like bits like along the way to like just like shove in the Mandalorian. Like I know there's countless things that they've been like shoving in that like I wouldn't have even known in the first place. And like it's great to see it. Like I love that they're doing that in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is not the Dash Rendar movie.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
If our friend Jack was in here, you guys would be hitting it off.
I want Katarn and Rendar. And
oh gosh, you said the name.
There it is. He loves Kyle Katarn. Shout out to Jack. But essentially, I was going to say earlier, Kanan, you love Kanan because he essentially is Kyle Katarn. He's like the modern Kyle Katarn.
But he is an actual Jedi. Kyle Katarn was just a guy with a lightsaber and a couple questions. Not actually.
There's something great too about the lightsaber blaster combo.
Yeah.
He's blocking and popping people. That just rules. So
yeah, I think that there's still room to like put him in somehow. They'll just have
I would like to see Kyle Katarn, but not force sensitive.
Fart sensitive?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I would just like to see him as like a scoundrel, the guy with the blaster, not the guy with the lightsaber. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
And then Dash Rendar is essentially just like Duke Nukem in Star Wars. So.
Watch your mouth.
He's just like he's just beefier Han Solo. He's the same guy. If you go play Shadows of the Empire, it's literally Han Solo going off Hoth, by himself.
Like, I'm a knockoff shit.
It looks exactly the same.
In half. Yeah.
He has I think he has a vest. So it's like, what do we do?
I don't know what he's wearing. It's like,
look, everyone in Star Wars has a vest. First of all.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a requirement.
Baggy pants weren't invented in Star Wars either. Everyone's got tight pants.
Tight 70s style pants is the only way to go. Unless you're in an Imperial, then you got the wide thigh, but tight pants.
Tight pants. Toy.
The going back to the Bad Batch. We haven't really gotten your take on it, Dallan, but to go off what Jamie said, it's just so cool to see the Imperial uprising through the clones' eyes. I think that's such a cool way to tell the story. So, but how have you been liking Bad Batch?
I love Bad Batch. I really do. It always throws me off because I'm like, these guys don't look like Jango Fett, even though I know they're like modified. So I'm like, but yeah, that's just me being me.
No, that's the biggest criticism out there of the show is that they don't look
not a clone.
Like
Tech doesn't look anything like Tamara Morrison.
He's just
neither does Crosshair.
Yeah, Crosshair. Yeah, no, but I mean that's whatever. You have to differentiate them. I love how they're learning to grow and learn how not to be clone soldiers. Like they're kind of mercenaries, or kind of not. You have Omega who's being the heart of the crew, who's grown on me. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work out, but Omega rules. So
yeah, she's the heart and soul of the show.
Grounded. Yeah. And I just love seeing the increase in danger every episode. Just keeps going up and a little bit more difficult for the guys. And I think I like it because I don't know. No one knows what happens to these characters. It's not like Rex. Like we know Rex is now in, Return of the Jedi, technically. So that he's not going anywhere.
It's
but it's
That'll
like, yeah, Hunter and these guys, you don't know what their story is going to lead to. And that's why that 2 episodes ago, I'm like, is he going to be okay? Like, I thought maybe that was going to be the end of Hunter for a second. I was like, I don't know. Which would be such a, like big moment. Like, that's the leader. If he goes out, like, it'd be crazy. So they have me hooked with that. I think that's.
Yeah, good. It'd be killing off Hunter would be like a Game of Thrones movie, like killing off Ned or Robb.
I thought about that in the moment. Yeah, I'm like, this is the guy like you always go to for guidance. Like, even the other clones look to him, and then that would be tough.
They all do. He's the leader of the
squad. It's a dark show too. I mean, who knows what they'll pull off for an animated series? Yeah,
I know. That's what I mean. Anything could happen to these guys, and I have a bad feeling.
Do you? A very Star Wars thing to say.
I have a bad feeling about this.
What do you think's gonna happen? So you haven't watched the most recent episode
15.
I did not. I missed that, so I'm gonna have to watch it. Maybe tonight I'll get around to it, and I'll do a live tweeting of my reactions.
There you go.
I'm freaking out. But I don't know. I can't just see this as these guys just drift away somewhere, because you figure they would be involved in another storyline somewhere in Star Wars if they were just around.
Yeah. It's interesting because we know they're in cahoots with Rex. And we know Rex and Gregor and Wolf are with each other in Rebels. Mm-hmm. So we know they're like okay, and the Imperials are like seem to be okay with them. Yeah. So we don't know how this like plays out. Jamie brought up the Clone Rebellion. I'm assuming that the Bad Batch hooks up with Rex and the gang and they do whatever, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I just want them to be okay.
I'd love for them to be okay, but I mean,
I don't want it to be a Rogue One and have them just all die, because that's like,
it's like all of this for nothing. I would cry.
Especially Omega. No matter what happens to Omega? There's been fan art of like her and Boba, because they're technically, I mean, they're all brothers and sisters and whatever.
Yeah,
but like
they're just Alpha and Omega.
I think that Omega could easily like survive and like appear in future content, definitely. Because if it's just down to one person, like say, God forbid, the entire batch dies, you could definitely work in one person as opposed to like 5 or 6 people.
Yeah.
And then it's like, where have these people been? Especially a group like that. They wouldn't just like disappear quietly. They couldn't if they tried. Because like they just couldn't.
They've been kind of. It's not working.
I think the perfect ending could be they fight with Rex and they do whatever. Rex goes off and is hunting Jupa on whatever planet that was on.
Yeah.
And then I want the Bad Batch to go live with Cutlo Cain and his family, just like farming somewhere. Like that would be the best ending.
Just chilling. Bring back Farmer Wrecker.
Just dudes being dudes, just farming, stuff up, and I like that.
They start like a farming tycoon.
No, they got to keep a low profile.
True.
Although, I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
maybe and then our guy Gonky.
Gonky, there he is. There he is. Wow.
And
then, that's fair.
That's the best right there. Our friend Brent made that for us, so very nice. Omega.
Gonky.
Gonky's gonna end up being the new leader.
Yeah,
he's gonna wear the headband. Yeah. They need to like get a couple more to like fit it around him.
Pass it down.
Just one really like tied together headband.
Oh
my god.
That's be optimistic for the ending.
But we know there's a season 2 now. You were on vacation, but there was new official news that it got renewed for season 2 next year.
Okay.
So there won't be someone might die to close it out, but
they decided to reveal that there will be a season 2 with 2 episodes left of the season. So it's an interesting tactic.
Yeah.
Because what is going to happen in the last 2 episodes? We know what happens in the second to last one, but what happens in the last, we don't know. And I'm a little nervous. Just gonna say that and leave it at that.
I'm worried about Hunter. I think he's the top of my list that I'm worried about. Out of all of them, I just feel
It's
like
good to be worried.
you said that's the Ned Stark of the group. I feel like him going away
in the finale,
and then Omega has to be the new, like, maybe the new leader.
That would fly for like a day, and then Echo would be like, "Okay, no, we're not doing this."
I wish there was more Echo going. I feel like there needs to be a bit more Echo.
I think they're afraid to like focus on him too much because he's had so much backstory and they want to show everyone else, but they need to, I don't know. It's weird. And they haven't mentioned Echo and Fives, to go back to Fives. Mm-hmm. Echo and Fives were best pals, best friends, pretty much, grew up together for however long that was. And
they were the Domino twins. I can't talk about it enough.
There's been no mentioning of Fives at all in the Div
show. Mention of Fives, and it was literally like, oh, Rex just goes, right. Oh, yeah, Fives told me about this. And Echo's like, oh, yeah.
Echo's like stone-faced.
Can't. Look, my favorite part of the Clone Wars is the clones, and it always has been. Like I love Ahsoka, and I love like all the additional Jedi in it. But it is the clones. That is my favorite part of it. So like when it's funny to me that you're like, oh, I don't like the Clone Wars yet. I can't get into it because I don't have a favorite character. And it's like, okay, you're about to have like 2 million favorite characters because it's the clones. It's all of them. And they're all fantastic. Right. Yeah, most of them. Yeah,
Fordo.
It's great.
I want more Fordo.
I want more.
Not a much, but
I wanted to transition to you guys, both of you guys, and I guess me a little bit, are interested in making like original character stuff of your own and doing your own like type of creations for Star Wars on your own time. And I know Dallan was really interested in writing about this character he created and whatnot. And Jamie, you have a cosplay of your character and you have stories with yours. And I have like a paragraph about my dude, but we'll get back to that one day. But I mean, which one of you wants to talk about your original characters you've created?
I mean, you can get the ball rolling. I mean, like, I think that what's the Star Wars equivalent of rock, paper, scissors? Just throwing that out there.
Geode. Paper.
Blaster, saber.
Geode.
Blaster, saber. Duracrete.
Are you familiar with Geode, Dallan?
No. So I didn't know what you were saying.
The High Republic, which is fantastic. If you ever have time to read them or listen to the audiobooks, it's really fun because it's such a brand new, clean slate of Star Wars era. And there's a character named Geode, and he's a rock.
He's a rock.
And he hangs out with Space Matthew McConaughey. So I'll leave it at that.
What a wild description of...
Yeah.
He's also the navigator. This is important.
And I think that's a good transition because your Star Wars character,
Matthew McConaughey,
your character is Space Matthew
McConaughey from a rock.
Pretty much.
That's basically real life Matthew McConaughey in all fairness.
So. Yeah, that's those Buick commercials or Lincoln.
Lincoln, I think.
It's Lincoln, yeah. I don't drive it because it's cool.
I drive it because it's a rock. Okay.
That's good.
So original characters, and so I guess for context, these aren't for like a D&D type thing. We're just kind of like making original characters, just like do it for the fun times. I mean, eventually
Dallan's inspiration was, I think, but
yeah, it'd be like great to like actually like use them in like that sense, but it's more of just like, oh yeah, just to get the creative juices flowing. Because like one thing that's just like always like incredible in general about original characters is just creating something for a universe that you love, like Star Wars. And it's just like, it's just super inspiring to be able to make something that you want in Star Wars and have no strings attached because it's your own character.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to have your own little corner to yourself or your friends, whoever you want to share it with. And now all the people that are listening will hear your corner. But there's not a lot of yelling and arguing there because it's your own thing and you can enjoy it.
Yeah. And you can change it as many times as you want.
Jamie, let's hear about Sendry.
I've changed the story many times. That's why I said up front, you can change it as many times as you want.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before on the podcast. I yell about it on social media off and on, like all the time. So Sendry is a Jedi character that I made. Alla Sendry is her full name, actually. Thank you very much. She is a Jedi, a Jedi who becomes a Jedi general in the Clone Wars, and then she survives Order 66 in a very dramatic display of events. Do you want me to go into detail further than that?
Whatever you want.
If you'd like.
We're here.
I don't want to describe the events in which how she survives, but it's awesome. And then she survives. And then do some like stuff, and I've changed it recently because of the events in the Bad Batch to include parts of leading up to the Clone Rebellion of like my own version of it until we find out like what that information is. And so like that's coming into play. Somehow Maz Kanata has come into play because she's like 700 years old and like, I don't know, she knows everybody, and Takodana is like a refuge anyway. So why not? Right? It's great. It's been a story that has ended up encompassing a lot of like my friends as well, of like there are other characters that they've like made like for that era, which is like really exciting. And it's just always fun like bouncing off ideas like with each other and like making your own character. And it's just one big just creative exercise essentially. And at this point I've made 2 outfits for her, and I probably want to make like 10 more honestly, but we're sticking with the 2.
The funniest part about that is you mentioned I'm about to throw us under the bus here, but you mentioned you like creating stories with other people. Dallan's original thing, like about a year ago when the pandemic started, was he reached out to us to like trio our characters together, and we just
I gotta
didn't
make a new character.
We just didn't like keep up with him at all, and I think he got sad.
So so the thing is, I tried to like work my Sentry into this, but I knew that Dallan likes the Rebellion era, so like that's when it would have been set, and like I wanted to make a new character for it
My
because like
transcends all eras.
She does.
A real place.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I got like a million ideas bubbling in my head for like other characters. Literally, if I don't like it for Sentry's story, I will make a new character and like put it in something else. And so because of that, I have like 4 or 5 other like Jedi during that Clone Wars era because I couldn't decide on one thing.
That's fair.
That's fun though.
That's good.
It's awful. It's great.
Yeah, that's what I had. Great. My idea was like almost do it like blogs where you could have a little community that has their character story, whatever they want to do, and you can post like chapter 1 of whatever character, and your friends can read it, and then they can write their own character or play off of what you wrote, and then everyone can just be kind of thrown. It's almost like Dungeons and Dragons where you're doing a story and you're working together. But it also just it's comforting reading somebody else's work because they're in the same boat you are. They're just trying to have fun, make a character, and it's not just like writing for yourself or trying to make something big. You're just having fun and enjoying other.
See how good
stories.
This sounds, and we didn't do it. We still could. We have the means to do it, but
you guys.
And now it's out there. We'll see what people think about it. But
I'm pretty sure something
Chapter
like it
1,
already exists.
The janitor.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just like I know, I've been playing Star Wars Galaxies again, and on one of the. That's not. There's my nemesis.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Imperial Bothan.
Yeah, he's my nemesis. But the way it's cool, like I play on the Legends server, which is one of the emulators. There's a bunch that let you play Galaxy since it's been shut down for like a decade. And then every time you log in, there's just like random articles people will be writing about what's going on in the world, or it'll be like Empire Day, or like some Imperial invasions going on Endor, and someone's gonna be writing about that, or there's a home decorating competition in the universe on the game. So they do like a road show of people's houses, and I'm like, it's such a nice little like community, just lighthearted thing. And even brought that idea back, and just how fun that would be,
And that's just like that's what really drove our interest with Star Wars and our love for it recently. By recently I mean the past 8 years or whatever. But having your own community, like Matt has his community on Reddit, which I always give him.
Is that a community?
I always give him crap for it, but he enjoys it. He likes the people there, and they like him, and they're all nice. So whatever.
I don't know if they like each other, but they're at least they exist.
Jamie and I she got me into the cosplay community, and we have our own community with Star Wars, and it's fun. So it's I get exactly what you mean with the whole like fun-loving community in Star Wars, because Star Wars the fandom can be nuts and insane, as we know.
Yeah.
But if you find your own little corner, it's really great.
And I feel like fans of Star Wars just naturally have that creative, imaginary mindset. That's why you love it in the first place, because Star Wars allows you to think out of the box and the stories you can come up with and think about. Like, everybody wants to be in Star Wars as a fan, because you're like, oh,
Right.
I would love to be, you know, I'd love to go to the canteen. I'd love to do this, whatever. So it's just, you know, giving those people an outlet to.
Everyone wants to
love
be
to
in
go
Star
to the
Wars.
cantina, just like
Oh
that.
my gosh, yeah.
That's
I was
the
so
cantina
mad
phase.
when I had that picture taken as a kid, because I only had one blaster.
So you had to hide your
And-
hand.
So you're hiding the
Yeah.
hand, yeah.
So there's a little behind the scenes of that picture. So I didn't want to be called out by the community.
You're like
This kid's a fraud.
10-year-old
He's a
cosplay.
phony.
This
He's
kid's
a
a fraud.
phone. I
But
love
let's hear about your character, Dallan. I know a little bit about him, but what do you got? What are some of the big bullet points?
So I've been playing around with it too, and just thinking of, because I've always been like a Han Solo-y kind of smuggler scoundrel, as
Dash
I said
Rendar.
before.
Dash
Rendar.
Rendar.
Yeah, I want to be a knockoff Dash Rendar. I think.
Wow, he's already a knockoff himself.
knockoff of a knockoff. Toro Calican.
And I've been playing around with
Ooh.
the names. That's why, like, Star Wars Galaxy has let me kind of play around, like, with the idea of making this like rebel pilot kind of smuggler guy. I forget the name I used when I wrote the first one.
I do too, but it was great.
I think it was Darrow Fell, but then I think I changed it since, because I've been using Arden Fenn is a name I've been using, but he was a bounty hunter. That was the Old Republic bounty hunter character, because I like bounty hunters too. All the grit and grime. But yeah, I like the idea of just the pilot, you know, maybe like someone running weapons for the Rebel Alliance, because you have to get weapons from place to place. You have to steal them from the Empire and deliver them to the, to the Alliance. Like, I like that kind of, because he's a good dude. He's trying to do the right thing, but he's kind of also a scoundrel, aka Han Solo. But
kind of sounds like
fun.
our guy Sedana Thano. So
yeah,
that's true. I don't know much about him, but I know. Yeah,
you should read up on him.
I know.
We interviewed the author. Great guy, Landry Q. Walker.
Yeah, scroll back on our channel, and you can find countless things about Sedana Thano at this point.
I picked up bits and pieces from you guys just aside from like AJ, so I know enough.
I'm glad our goal in life is to pass on the stories of Sedana Thano. So
pass on what we know.
And I mean, it makes sense why you like Rebels so much too, because they literally are like running weapons for they create the rebellion pretty much. So
nothing beats a good like freighter ship, like a good like Millennium Falcon or any of those. Nothing beats it.
The rustier the better.
Rustier the better.
Oh man. Oh my gosh, what the heck is Mando's ship called?
Razor Crest.
It blew up. Razor Crest.
Yeah, we don't talk about
you don't get much rustier and blowing up than that.
That thing rules. And
I
how
can't believe
heart-wrenching was it when they go like,
I know. Oh,
love a good freighter.
That was a shock too. All of a sudden it was just like, oh, it's gone.
I screamed. I forgot the kid was taken, and it was like boom. I was like, no.
The hell with Grogu. What happened to the
Kids
ship?
just keep on coming.
And they're just watching him like scrum around in the dirt and like picking up like bolts, and they're just like,
and, they're like, this is awkward. I guess we'll help the poor guy out. And Boba comes up
with the worst diversion. He's like, what do we got? I need you to take a look at something. He pulls out.
The worst timing ever to prove that it's his armor. Dude, this is my father's armor.
I know you just lost your entire life, but I just want to show you that I didn't steal this.
There was a conversation between him and Fennec, like, how are we gonna break this silence up? And he's like,
they're just like,
got my chain code,
They're back. The Empire. Oh my god.
Oh gosh.
Best voice.
But yeah, I mean, we really should work on the trio of stories here. Maybe we got something. My
make it work.
Story I created along with Dallan for like 2 weeks was It's a janitor. I don't know what species. I kind of want him to be a Bothan now.
It can be anything.
He really.
He could be Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
He's a janitor working on Corellia, just cleaning out toilets and ships and whatnot. And a story I had was he's cleaning out a ship, and a escapes Jedi runs onto the ship he's cleaning out. There goes the Jedi. This happens like once per episode where someone drives by. And a Jedi runs onto the ship, and he doesn't know what's going on. And the Jedi's being chased by an Inquisitor on Corellia, and she or he, I think it was a she. It was essentially Jamie's character that was the Jedi.
Yeah.
But apparently it won't work now. And new character.
I don't know. New character.
Long story short, the janitor's like, whoa, a Jedi. And then he eventually finds out he's force sensitive too, which the more I think about it is like identical to what happens to Finn. So he's not cleaning out a ship, and but he meets Rey, and then he's like, wait, I might be force sensitive too. So
and he was a janitor. So
he was a janitor. So
the force sensitive janitor.
There you go. Make
and I always have the joke.
Fly like Broom Boy.
Yeah. Everyone has a broom. Yeah, exactly. He's more of a mop boy, but yeah,
definitely more of a mop guy.
Yeah, more of a floor waxer.
The Johns, the toothbrush.
I have a weekly question of the week. I almost said a weekly question, but our question of the week, which is either sent in by a fan, quote unquote fan, or made up by me. Nobody knows what it is. But are you guys ready for the question?
Is it from you or is it from a listener? Is that what you're referring to? Nobody knows what it is, or the question is in secrecy?
Both. You won't find out if it's from me or the. Hey, we had the fake ad that was from a fan.
I love the fake ad. That was fantastic.
That was fun. Question of the week.
Okay.
If you're working for Lucasfilm Games or EA, whoever the heck's making video games these days for Star Wars.
EA.
And you get to greenlight a Star Wars game of your choice, Star Wars video game. What's it going to be? It can be any type, any genre or anything. Dallan and I have talked about this in the past, so I figured this would be solid to bring up. Okay. So there, the cat's out of the bag. I came up with the question.
You didn't have to say it, but you did. The Gundarks out of the bag.
The Gundarks out of the bag.
There he goes.
Put it back in the bag, back in the cave. I would create a Jedi Temple life simulator in which you create a Jedi just like The Sims. Whoa. and you pretend to be a Jedi, and you go through your Padawan training, you go through your youngling training, your Padawan training, you get a master, you go through that, and then you get knighted, and then that's it, and then you die. That's it.
What game would you compare to that?
I would compare it to The Sims, honestly.
Okay, so do you build your apartment and whatnot on Coruscant or wherever?
Yeah, I guess. Maybe it's that, and then eventually you get as you level up as a Jedi, you can make an outpost on another planet, so kind of High Republic style, where there's the Outer Rim a outpost, and so but you build it from scratch. I don't know.
I'm thinking it feels like it's a life simulator thing that Dwight plays in The Office.
Yeah,
which is also cool.
That.
Second Life.
Yeah.
All right, Dallan, what do you got?
There's so many directions to go off of this one. Obviously, the easy one's an Elder Scrolls style Star Wars game, which everybody wants. That's just an easy answer. Pick whatever you want to do. I also like the idea of some sort of more space-centered one. Everybody wants to make their own ship in Star Wars. I feel like there needs to be some sort of I don't know if any games do that so well. The space flight, spaceship, Kerbal Space Program, Star Wars version.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. There we go. That game's awesome.
I like that. That's cool.
We don't really know what the upcoming Bethesda game Starfield is really going to revolve around, but apparently there's going to be a lot more actual space travel within it, but we don't know the full story with it. But
they said it was Elder Scrolls in space. I mean, without the Star Wars title, that's essentially what Dallan wants. But
yeah.
There's hope because Lucas Games, whatever they're called now, they're working with Bethesda on that Indiana Jones game whenever that's coming out. I'm looking forward to that. So maybe if they're working with that, maybe they'll do a Star Wars title in the future. Because I know the EA license is up soon. But
they're working with so many companies. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
It definitely needs to be more like space-centric Star Wars games. You know, Squadrons was good for being just kind of like let's see what happens here. But something a bit more, I don't know, because that's the only Star Wars, like even Battlefront, they kind of have the space thing, but even that's secondhand in their brain.
No one plays that game mode. It's disappointing. But it's just so sad that like there aren't that many Star Wars games in the past, since the Star Wars revival, I call it, since the purchase, and we're getting a ton of content with the shows, and next year there's gonna be a show like every month of the year and every week, it seems, and eventually we'll get back into the movies in 2023. But there's no announcements of video games really right now. Even Lego Star Wars, like we don't know if that's coming out or when it's coming out. Yeah, and it just seems like growing up, I always bring up like there were so many Star Wars games to pick from, and it felt like that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but now we just have like Battlefront 2, and I find myself going back to play like KOTOR 1 and 2, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, where are the new games? I want to play Star Wars.
The new KOTOR.
Right. That's another thing. So who knows how that's going to be? That'll be great, but if they'll do it the same or do it differently.
Yeah. But I mean, I just picture if it's Mass Effect, Star Wars. I mean,
that'd be great.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Because like that's also like linear enough of a story that they could like make that work.
Right. Because the whole choice thing is what makes those games kind of, and that'd be hard to work into Star Wars because canon is so strict. But they could figure it. They could do something.
They could absolutely. I mean, just look at something like Rebels. Just give us another Rebel squadron and have you go around with them. Like you could easily put that in there.
That'd be fun.
There's so much in Star Wars. That's why I love Mandalorian. Like starting out because he's there around everything, but it's so separate to start anyhow that you can make him do whatever you wanted. It didn't matter. So
that's what you and I had these discussions, and we bickered with each other a bit. Kind of, but like I love when Star Wars connects to other Star Wars, and I think Mando is doing it well enough where we're both happy, where it's separate but also connecting. They had like a bit too many cameo. It was like every week we're getting a different cameo, and they would show the poster and whatnot. And Bad Batch has flirted with that a bit too, with Kanan and Hera and Cad Bane. It's kind of like who's going to make the cameo this week.
Yeah,
but
Scorch.
Yeah, Scorch. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
That was and then back to video games. I mean, if they made a new Republic Commando or something, like a remastered Republic Commando, it'd be like Halo Reach or whatever. That'd be cool. But my video game that I would greenlight is Sea of Thieves, but
in space,
but Star Wars.
Yep.
So
it'd be a cross.
Take my money.
It'd be a cross between Sea of Thieves and Dallan, what's the one that I kind of hate, but it's really cool? No Man's Sky. Yep.
Yeah.
So a combination of those would be so fun. Where you get to go around on your ship with your friend and your group, no matter if it's 2 people, 5 people, whatever, and you go plunder spice and whatnot and deliver it. That'd be so much fun.
So this is the Sidon Ithano simulator game.
Yeah, essentially. And you could pick your armor, and it'd be so fun.
That's it.
I just fly to Nar Shaddaa and just slum it up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
have some drinks.
You could do anything on Nar Shaddaa, and it'll just fit into canon because everything is a mess there anyway. So just shove it there.
Nar Shaddaa back. There's mentionings of it. I think in Solo and Fallen Order. There's a new comic run, which you would really enjoy, Dallan. Without this one, but it's War of the Bounty Hunters, and there's just different crossover things, and it follows Boba Fett, who you love, and how he loses Han Solo in between Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Oops. Oh, he lost him, but he gets him back.
Me?
No. We lost Han.
Smuggle Han Solo? Did you lose Han Solo?
It cut out for a second. I heard we lost, or we lost him.
Yeah,
I thought I was
you.
gone. I was like, oh no. No, I think I've actually read into that storyline a little bit because I do know about that stuff, and I think like IG-88 pops in there and like blows the wing off the slave one or something. I don't know.
Something different happens. But
that's your storyline. Maybe it's Legends then or something.
Why did I bring up the comic?
Oh, we're getting into Uncharted territory.
Right.
Yeah.
AJ, what are your last thoughts?
My last thoughts are, this was fun. And it was good talking Star Wars with Dallan. I feel like we could talk. I've had hours long conversations with Dallan about stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll have to have him on again in the future.
You bring your friends on the show, and this is what happens.
Yeah, I feel like we only scratched the surface, but it was fun.
There's a lot to go off of, and that's why I'll keep you guys in the loop as I continue to delve deeper into this. Because you guys have kind of helped me explore Star Wars more. Because I was a little closed-minded for a bit.
A little, but, not too bad,
but I'm getting there. So I'll keep you guys in the loop. We'll get our website blog thing community going.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Nestofgundarks.com.
We don't know if that's actually a thing or not yet. So if it is, it's not us.
That's true. And I don't know what's going on there, but if it's not, it's a hypothetical thing. So.
But yeah, but seriously though, where can we find you on social media, Dallan, for anyone who might want to check in what you're up to?
Right there. Yeah, right there. I'm working on the social media game a little bit. So, I have no real game plan. I don't do a whole lot of fun stuff, but give me a follow.
You do.
No, we can. I'm always.
We'll add the links to everything. So let's see. All right, 1, 2, 3. We're all still here. We're all going to leave. This is the end of the HoloNet Marauders podcast for this week. We want to thank you guys so much for listening and watching our episode this week. Thank you, Dallan. Thank you, AJ. We wish Matt was here, but he's not, so he didn't get to chat with us, which sucks. Anyway, you can find us on social media at HoloNet Marauders. On Twitter, it is just at HoloNet Marauder. Thank you guys so much for listening to the HoloNet Marauders podcast.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.